Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming today. This is a very difficult day for us here at the Saanich Police Department, for the Victoria Police Department, and for the whole community of Saanich. I will first provide an update on today's incident and then invite Vic PD's Acting Chief Colin Watson to say a few words. Please know that this is an active investigation, ongoing, and there are still many steps that are remaining. I can confirm that 2 suspects are deceased and several members of the Greater Victoria Emergency Response Team, known as GVERT, have been transported to hospital during an ongoing incident at a bank in Saanich today. A shelter-in-place advisory remains in effect for the area of North Derry Road to Cedar Hill Cross Road and Richmond Road to Cedar Hill Cross Road, as officers search for a potential 3rd suspect. At approximately 11 a.m. this morning, officers with the Saanich Police, GVERT, and Vic PD responded to a report that 2 armed men had entered a bank in the 3600 block of Shelbourne Street in Saanich. Multiple officers responded to the scene and encountered the armed suspects who fired at police. 2 suspects who were shot by police died at the scene. 6 GVERT officers suffered gunshot wounds and were transported to hospital. At this time, we anticipate that some officers will be released following emergency treatment, whereas other officers sustained very serious injuries and have been taken into surgery. We will provide you with further updates on the conditions of all the officers as we are able to. We are keeping their families updated, and we are doing everything we can to support them, as well as supporting all of our staff. 3 of the injured GVERT officers are members of the Saanich Police Department, and 3 of the injured GVERT officers are also members of the Victoria Police Department. At this time, we do not believe that any bank employees, bank customers, or members of the public were physically injured in this incident. This remains an ongoing police incident with heavy police presence in the area. Homes and businesses in close proximity to the scene of the incident have been evacuated due to the presence of a potential explosive device in a vehicle that has been confirmed associated to the suspects. Again, as you can see, this remains an ongoing and active situation. Our response is being augmented and supported by resources from the BC RCMP and our local police partners at Vic PD, Central Saanich Police, Oak Bay Police, and West Shore RCMP. The Vancouver Island Integrated Major Crime Unit is assisting at this point as well. As the case in all officer-involved shootings in British Columbia, the Independent Investigation Office is also investigating this incident. We will provide further updates with respect to the emergency response, this investigation, and the welfare of our officers. We appreciate and strongly value the ongoing support for our officers and the community during this time. For updates, please follow at Saanich Police or at Vic PD Canada on Twitter. To the community of Saanich, I want you to know that despite this very challenging day, police service remains active, and the Saanich Police Department and our officers will continue responding to your calls for service. As we continue to care for our staff, we will also be caring for you. I will now turn it over to Acting Chief from Vic PD, Colin Watson. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming. So I just wanted to echo Chief Duthie's comments. Today, both Saanich Police Department officers and Vic PD officers put their lives on the line as they responded to a call that threatened the lives of officers, citizens in our two communities, and everyone in the area. 3 of our Vic PD officers, all members of the Greater Victoria Emergency Response Team, were shot today, as were 3 Saanich police officers. Our thoughts are with all of the injured officers, the Greater Victoria Emergency Response Team as a whole, their loved ones, and everyone in the shared police community. Right now, officers from the Saanich Police Department and the Victoria Police Department, together with our partners, are out in our communities, responding to calls for service, continuing to keep everyone safe, knowing that some of their friends and colleagues were shot today and are recovering. Despite what happened today, they each continue to do their good work like they do each and every day. They have our collective thanks for the work that they do, and I thank them, and I know Chief Duthie thanks them on behalf of 2 very grateful communities. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
So, Scott Wood, CTV News, thank you for having me. Obviously, this is far from ordinary. We've seen bank robberies in the region, but this is something else. What did the ERT team encounter? Like weaponry? Were the assailants wearing body armor? Can we get some details there? Because obviously there was a huge exchange of gunfire.
Yes, thank you for your question. And I do have limited information at this point. As I mentioned, it's an ongoing investigation, so I do not know the type of firearms that the suspects did have, but obviously they were heavily armed, and body armor is been reported to be worn by the suspects. Again, I haven't received the confirmation, but that information has been brought to my attention.
What type of, you said that the injuries vary as it pertains to the officers. Obviously a touchy subject right now, but can you give us kind of a level from the least to maybe the most serious?
As I mentioned, there's 3 officers that are looking to be released from hospital probably in the next little while. The others that are undergoing surgery right now obviously have much more serious injuries, and at this point I just can't comment on the extent or nature of them because it's ongoing. Yes, sir.
Can you expand a bit on the tactical sort of decisions or sort of what happened first, second, third as the officers decided to go in and engage?
Yeah, I can't really comment on that because it was a very fluid, dynamic situation that happened very quickly. Again, I haven't had a chance for a complete debrief on that step-by-step nature because right now we are caring for our officers and we're treating the scene as a crime scene and getting things looked after. And also, there is a potential third suspect, so this is ongoing, and there's many parts that are still in motion right now.
Just to follow up, there was a report online, just an unconfirmed thing going around that there was officers being dragged behind a police van or something like that. Can you confirm that, or do you heard that?
I know nothing about that, no. I have no information on the suspects at this point.
Chief, there was some scuttlebutt that banks no longer carry large amounts of cash. Any sense in the early part of the investigation as to why they would have been targeting this bank on this particular day?
Absolutely no indication at this point at all on that. Yes, please.
We've seen video of an exchange of gunfire outside of the bank. Can you give us an indication of where the 2 suspects were? Was it inside the bank or outside on the street?
Again, I've not attended the scene, but from the information that I'm aware of, I believe that to be outside the bank where the shooting occurred.
Can you give us an indication of how many people have been evacuated from the bank today?
Well, yeah, I don't have an idea of numbers, but that area is a fairly big area that I explained to you. So it's a surrounding area around the bank there to ensure public safety while that potential explosive device is confirmed or determined and safely managed.
Are you waiting on all this?
Yes, we are.
Do you recall anything in your policing history and the history you know of Saanich? Have you ever heard of anything like this level of violence?
In my service with Saanich, being just shy of 27 years, there's been nothing to this extent in my experience.
Can you talk to us about what's going on inside those doors right now? I mean, what is it like in the policing community? I see the entire parking lot is full. You have your members from other stations here. What is the feeling amongst police, not just here, but on Vancouver Island?
I can tell you that I've received phone calls from chiefs of police throughout the province, from the RCMP, island, mainland, everywhere. Everybody is demonstrating an outpouring of support, high-level support, and they're making it very clear that they will do what they can to assist the Saanich Police Department and the Victoria Police Department in this matter. Obviously, the impact to our organization, all our sworn members, civilian members, volunteers are feeling what happened today, and we're here for them, and we will continue to be here for them throughout this, because it won't last a day, 2 days. It will be long-standing. And we're also very cognizant of the impact to the community as well. This is something that shakes a community. And to your point, where Saanich has not experienced something like this in many years, in the terms of how long I've been here, people are going to be affected by this, and we're cognizant of that. And again, want to reassure them that we are going to stand strong, and we are going to be the police department that they depend on day in and day out.
Chief, you talk about a potentially armed third suspect somewhere out there. Do you have any indication of where this person might be? And should the community be concerned after witnessing the level of violence they did today that this person is out there?
Yeah, again, the information is vague on this, and we're trying to confirm it. That's why we're saying it's a potential third suspect. It's not a confirmed third suspect. But we're taking all safety precautions necessary. We've asked all those areas around the bank incident to remain in their houses, lock their doors, what we call shelter in place. And we've taken all the necessary precautions to get the information out through media channels, through our social media, to keep the public up to date and aware. And we will continue to keep them updated until this third suspect is either confirmed and in custody or confirmed as not existing. I don't have that information in front of me, but we receive it's emergency calls that come in, and I don't know how this one particularly came in, but through the 911 system would be the course of action that we respond to emergency calls.
So one more question. I was wondering how you got so many officers there, and how did you know that this was a huge event and you need to throw your full force on it?
Well, we have our streets, our service and operations are staffed accordingly. There's officers working in neighboring jurisdictions, like you know, and we've talked about, and the other, like the GVERT, for example, happened to be deployed today and close in the area. So their quick response was invaluable and brought this situation to a quick resolve, and we are so grateful for their service. Well, again, as things were unraveling, and like I mentioned earlier, this is still ongoing. So we would put out information through our communication section on Twitter and things like this as we learned it. And we have to be very careful that we put out what we know, not what we think may be, because we don't want to put out any information that is not confirmed. So that was done on a steady basis through social media. And again, this is still ongoing, so the information will continue.
And was there consideration of using any of the bank systems that were developing to make sure the community might not reach out to any
Yeah, at this point, again, because I've been focused on so many other things, I don't know the answer to that question. Thank you.
There's also a report that people were removed from the bank by bus and took out to safety.
Well, there's a lot of witnesses involved in this incident, as you can well imagine. And yes, we have different mechanisms to safely transport people from the scene back to police departments in order for care and witness statements and things like that. I'm so thankful and grateful to say that that's the case. If you're asking me for what are the chances, I can't tell you. I mean, it's from what happened and from what I've described to you and what I know about that chaotic, tragic, dynamic, violent scene, the fact that no citizens were injured in any way is truly amazing, and I'm so grateful for it. And again, the officers did get injured because they were doing what they signed up to do, to protect the public, to respond to the danger, to keep people safe. And again, we're in a situation right now that is hard because we have members in the hospital right now suffering from serious wounds and injuries. There's vague information at this point again, and that's why we're taking all steps necessary to make that confirmation. And that's all I can really say on that at this point. And again, our communication teams will be informing the public through the media when we can tell you more on that.
You said that two suspects were killed in this volley of gunfire. Who fired first? And were both suspects killed in the same kind of, you call it, kind of chaotic situation, or was it two separate situations?
Yeah.
More about those chaotic moments to give us some insight.
Yeah, thank you for that. And you know what? I don't have those specific answers. The incident happened. Armed suspects left the bank. Obviously, created a situation that was in grave danger for the public and any person around there. I don't know who fired first at this point, but there was multiple gunshots that were fired, and we're at, I don't know, again, the exact positioning of where the suspects were when they were hit.
There's a lot of talk about how many shots were fired. It might seem trivial right now, but do you guys have an idea of the exchange?
I just know there's multiple shots that were fired. I have no idea on how many. I know they're on their way. I don't have a timing right now, but they're making every effort to get here as quickly as possible. And we have that area again locked down, evacuated to keep people safe until that situation can be resolved safely. You know, I haven't been out there myself, so I have no idea where exactly it is.
Have you spoken to anybody involved in the situation? Involved in the actual, I guess, firefight?
I haven't spoken one-on-one. I've spoken to people in the group that were responding to this call to make sure that they understand that the Saanich Police leadership team, everybody in the department is here to support them through this difficult time, and that's where we're focusing our attention right now as they process what has occurred today. Again, the latest update I have is there's people in surgery right now with serious injuries. That's the information I have. Certainly.
Thanks, Chief. Good afternoon.
I guess, just kind of the same question. Have you spoken to anyone who was involved in the actual incident, and give us a feeling of how your members are right
I've spoken to a couple of our members that were sort of on the periphery, but not officers that were directly involved just yet. A number of our support staff and officers are in contact with those officers. It's clear to me that they're all significantly impacted by the event, as are members of our police community, both police officers and our civilian staff at the office. There's certainly a sense of a sadness and frustration about what's happening, but also a sense of resolve about doing the best job they possibly can under very difficult circumstances.
There's been so much talk lately about gun control, gun violence, just globally. We're hearing that these suspects were heavily armed. What does that say about a situation like this when that kind of, like my colleague was saying, is happening on a Tuesday afternoon? How troubling is this for you that this type of gunfire would happen in a place people believe to be quaint like Saanich?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is a very troubling situation. I mean, nobody ever wants to see anything like this in their communities happen. And but as Chief Duthie said, I mean, our officers are out there to do their very best to protect the community. This is the type of event that we hope we never ever see at any time, and our officers never have to see or address in their careers. But this is also why we provide training and prepare our officers for the very worst day, and this is one of those days.
The bank, I believe, was robbed in February. Is that correct?
I don't have any information on that.
Thank you, and yeah, I don't have any information on that as well.
Well, I mean, the TC reported that. I think there was a press release back in February that this, I guess, is there a suspicion that these may be connected?
I have no information whatsoever on that. That'll be obviously part of the ongoing investigation that continues from this point forward.
Is there an explosive device, or is he just taking precautionary measures to clear the van?
The information I have at this point is that there's believed to be an explosive device from what has been seen from a safe distance at this point. Unconfirmed though. I don't have a specific number for you, but our on-duty patrol platoon was pretty much all in response. We had the GVERT that was on another operation that responded. We had Vic PD members that were monitoring the radio that responded. So it was a large number because, again, as mentioned earlier in this conference, this event is a dramatic difference from what generally occurs in our region. The information is really limited on that right now because, again, things happen so dynamically and quick when officers first attended the scene. I'd just like to re-emphasize again that we recognize this is an event that's going to shake a lot of people and cause them to feel unsafe, question many things. But I want to ensure that people understand and they're reassured by the service that they get from the Saanich Police Department and from our partners in Victoria at the Victoria Police Department that we are going to stay strong through this. We're going to care for our members, care for their families, whether they're directly involved or indirectly or even off duty today, because it impacts everybody. So we're going to stay alive to that and we're going to move forward. Thank you very much.